Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charney, and this is another Worcestershire church. This is the church at Rous Lench. I misspoke in the last one. I said there were 3 Lench churches. There are only 2, and the 4th Lench village is Ach Lench, which you can see is easy to forget. This is the smaller of the 2, perhaps. It's also the decidedly weirder of the 2. It feels very much like a sort of Norman Byzantine church. It is Norman. In 1885, however, Frederick Preedy was allowed to pretty much run wild with a restoration here, which is absolutely amazingly eccentric. If you must have a Victorian restoration, let it be by someone who wants to have fun, rather than somebody who wants to just do something that will, just allow a few things. This is, of course, Rous Lench. It's named for the Rous family, and it has a mortuary chapel that contains all the old memorials for Lord Rous and the family, and that is in the aisle. The aisle has been rebuilt largely by Preedy. There was an earlier aisle here. There is this Norman arcade you can just see here, and yes, you may have noticed there are 2 Jacobean pulpits behind me, neither of which is originated from this church, apparently. Both of them were going begging, and I thought, let's put them in Rous Lench Church, because Rous Lench Church is just fun. It's wonderful, and we'll see as we go around. It's one of my favourite churches in all of Worcestershire, and there's some lovely Worcestershire churches. So let's see why it's such a fun, lovely building. So as usual, we start at the west end of the nave. I forgot to mention that the dedication here is to St. Peter. This is St. Peter's Rous Lench. You can see here these oil lamps. They have been converted to electricity, but relatively sensitively. You've got Norman chancel arch, screen, and yes, those 2 Jacobean pulpits. As I say, they do come from 2 different churches, and neither of them are this one. Nice Norman arcade here, and you can just see there that neo-Norman arch that is into the mortuary chapel. The reason for the mortuary chapel is to make sure that the big Rous memorials are not impinging in any way. We have here some of these benches. These benches are by Preedy, and they're not these off-the-peg things. They are. But here we've got some chairs, and here again at the back these. And we've got this memorial here at the back. We preach Christ crucified, and it's the crucifixion. Font is 15th century, I suspect, maybe 14th. And another one of these lovely Preedy 14th century style font covers. More memorial here, just the 3 names on it: Horace Bragg, Henry Hemming, George Mills. Collection box of the Church Restoration Fund, very important. And this is weird. That is a very Byzantine altar, isn't it? And you can see there's also, is that a number 3 pulpit? Yes, there are 3 pulpits in this church. One of them is a little one here attached to the really mortuary chapel low pulpit and screen. We have here, there's a nice bit of Preedy. This is a resurrection, and you can see here Christ in the middle with the living creatures around, as per, of course, the book of Ezekiel. Nice iron screen here, wrought iron screen. It is a bit gloomy in here because obviously it's a mortuary chapel. It's intended for, well, actually dealing with dead people. So do we have a lighting in here? We have lighting. So we have lighting. Only a little bit of light. We have the light. You can see, which you can't actually, but you should be able to. But here, yes, we have Elizabeth Lady Rous, daughter of John Lisle of Moxel in the county of Warwickshire, Esquire, and 1690, we would say 2, they would largely say 1, so it's March, it's before Lady Day. Sir Charles William Rous Broughton, Baronet, died 1821. We've got this gentleman, this is Edward Rous of Rous Lench. He and his wife, and there below you've got their children, son with his sword, and then you've got the 3 daughters. There's the remains of a medieval stone coffin. You can see it's rather fragmentary these days. You can just about see here the old piano and harmonium, and then beyond there is a vestry that is now used for storage. Elizabeth Lady Rous erected this monument to the memory of her husband, and he was Sir Edward Rous of Rous Lench, Baronet, and he died 1677. And there's another one here. This is, see all these Rous memorials. Got some nice Preedy angels up here in this window. And what he's done is he's taken these and he's put them all in a special bell. I didn't wonder if that was something that was used as a schoolroom at one point. Probably was, given just how enormous the vestries through there are. And here we have this lady, and this is hard to tell because this is Francis Rous. Hard to tell, but this lady here, well, this is Francis Rous, and there's his wife below, with rather scanty garments, and there's his head. He's being borne off in the clouds by putty. Often they've talked about them as cherubim. Strictly they are putty, these little winged babies, because of course cherubim are something quite different in the Bible. And of course one of the things about putty is that they don't run in clothes, so these flying naked babies, and his wife mourning his departure. He is ascending, being taken off into the clouds. So that is the memorial chapel. Very, very nice set of memorials. It's very good that what they've done is they've just put them all off in their own little space, so you can look around. It's a shame part of being for storage, but there we go. Can't have everything. But and this is this very, very lovely, say almost rather Byzantine, isn't it? Very Byzantine. This is the little sort of pulpit, and here's a couple of the old bells. There's a bell there and a bell there. You don't often see bells taken down here on the ground. So this is what these church bells look like up close, and this is, say, the bookboard's gone here, but that would have been a pulpit, and could have been used in smaller services or little memorial services. And there's so many bells here. Look at that. There's another bell. You can ring that bell. Altar here, and this altar piece obviously is a copy of medieval one. It's nothing but a copy, and that is a gilded dome. There's a light up here that will light up the gilded dome. Just about. So that's a gilded dome up here, and in the, well, not sure there's anything in the top. No, there isn't, but there's a gilded dome. I can just see the reflection there from the light, so we'll put the lights off again. Another bell, ding dong. Well, I suspect, you can see it would have had a rope to pull, and that rope isn't there anymore. This door leads then through into the vestries, and I suspect it's well, this is the outer vestry. It's used for storage these days. And this would be the choir vestry. You can tell because it's got all these hooks and things. And then in here you have the inner vestry, which, as you can see there, leads into the Rous chapel. And this inner vestry has some remaining, a couple of stained glass panels there. This is all Preedy, of course, all by Preedy. Some remaining furniture, look at that up there. But it hasn't been, obviously it's just all used for storage these days. It's a series of lumber rooms, which is rather funny. I mean, it's great they have them open, because very often it's lock these things out of the way. And then we emerge into the light of the chancel, and modern stained glass window. And that is the altar. It's fun. It's, of course, neo-Norman, which is a good style for all this. And east window we have the Annunciation. Then below you've got these Anglo-Catholic, the tabernacle with paintings. The tabernacle is for reserving the host, which you're not supposed to do according to the 39 Articles, but Anglo-Catholics go Anglo-Catholic. We have this really nice episcopal seat. When the bishop comes visiting, they make him welcome. It's a good thing. Nice organ, little organ. You don't need a big organ in a place like this. Inside of the screen, and that screen is, again, rather eccentric, which I like. There's no point in having a funny chair. And don't look at the chairs here. One does rather think it's a big house family has their individual chairs here in the chancel, which is a very good idea. Organ is by A.J. Price of Cheltenham, but now originally from London apparently, and very nice. It's a simple window by Preedy, a bit washed out by the sun unfortunately. Isn't that splendid though? And we've got these nice skylights to increase the light in the building. So they've actually thought about natural light, and you can see, okay, it's a sunny day, but still, you can see natural light in here. Little bit of mosaic pavement there, and this is one of the Jacobean pulpits, and there's the other one. There's the exit from the rood stairs, and more simple stained glass. So really impressive, really nice, really eccentric, gloriously weird, and there is not another building like it in the entire world. You can see here has been some restoration. They had to do some, and they've discovered do some work. They discovered that's brick under there. Again, it's not supposed to be seen. Cover it up with whitewash. So one wonders how much of the whitewash is actually covering brick and how much is covering stone. That's another thing to remember about whitewash. Obviously, that doesn't problem with the ceiling at the moment, because that was obviously part of the ceiling has come down there. But thankfully, the building is still open, and long may it remain so, because there are a few buildings as gloriously weird as this one. There's a painting here, the feast in the house of Simon the Pharisee, and you can see there they are reclining as they ought to be, because that's what they did in those days. So that. One last long look around the inside. This is this beautiful, mad, bonkers, eccentric church with its little Byzantine altar off on one end, and the ascent there. Sometimes it's got Victorian Gothic church, you go, well, a bit dull, isn't it? You don't think that here. This is just mad, in the best possible way. Choir stalls, and so yes, you've got your special seating for the big house in the chancel. Thank you very much. Guess who paid for the rebuilding? Well, let's have a look at the outside then. So here we are outside at St. Peter's, Rous Lench. Rous Lench is, on the sliding scale of Preedy churches, Rous Lench is on the completely mad and boy didn't he have fun end of the scale, as you've seen on the inside. And we have a look at the outside. The outside is, once again, this is a Norman church. He's saying to himself, I need to preserve its proper historic character. And that's always a good thing about an architect, if they say, I've got to preserve the historic character of the building. So we'll have a look around the outside and see, again, how Preedy has really outdone himself in this restoration. And so here we are on the outside. You can see there the rood stair turret, that square-ish projection, and there's the south doorway with its sculpture above. So here we have the medieval, here we have the original Norman church basically, but it is this nave, chancel, two parts, two cell, very typical Norman church. The belfry is Preedy, but surely there was one there beforehand. And this is where you have And of course there's two bells in there, which must have come from somewhere, as well as the little bells, the two little bells inside the church, which always amazed me how many bells this building has, given it hasn't got a tower. It is absolutely wonderful, as I say, absolutely bonkers in the best way. And when it comes to Victorian Gothic architecture, that's what you want to some degree. Now this is the U-tunnel to the big house. So as we go through here, we come to the end and you've got this walkway, and that goes all the way towards the big house. And as we turn around, we have the U-tunnel, and we pass down to the church. You can see here the vestries on the north side of the chancel. Normally vestries are relatively restrained. The ones here appear to have just multiplied. A nice little belfry. Now, they must have had a bigger, stronger belfry on the west end at some point, because those big bells would not work in that little belfry. And I mean, look at that chimney and all those roofs. The vestry has multiplied. It has been fruitful. And I'm not being rude about the building. I am commenting how gloriously bizarre it is. I love it. I love it in every way. And of course the vestries, and that's the mortuary chapel there, with its blind arcade and rose window. It's a very good idea. We've got these historic memorials. What do we do with them? We build a special chapel for them, so that they can be admired rather than getting in the way. This is the north doorway. It looks like it's all Preedy, but it's imitating the south. And you've got here these corbel tables. Corbel tables are a very Norman thing. And so again, he's gone out. It's a Norman church. We have a corbel table here, and that's wonderful, because it just so emphasises how this is about respecting the building as it is, and about beautifying it. There was, as we've seen, definitely an aisle there, but it would have been a low lean-to, not the current building. And the west end, that big window would already have been there. You can see that weathered stonework, and up there the belfry. And we come around. It's absolutely amazing. It has character in the right way, and Preedy has really understood this has character. It does appear that he hasn't had opportunity to carve the corbel table up there, because you can see that he was planning to, but they're just plain blocks. Well, they probably ran out of money. We have this nice Norman carving Christ in majesty over the doorway, and the doorway, some of it is Norman, some of it is Preedy restoration, all of it is quite appropriate to this little building. So that is St. Peter's, Rous Lench. So there we have it. Probably my favourite church in this area, and there are some really lovely ones. But this one really takes home the prize, because it is mad. Because it's a building where someone hasn't gone, oh, we want to have a conventional building. It's a building where you've got, let's just have something that is exciting, and it's exciting. It's probably often missed. It's a little bit off the beaten track, but it should be visited often by many people, because it deserves it. So this is one of my favourite churches in the whole of Worcestershire, and indeed in the whole of Britain. Doesn't make it into many people's best lists, but it should, because it's bonkers. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. I've obviously tell I've enjoyed it. I love this building. So if you enjoyed this, then may God bless you and keep you until next time.